What is up, everybody? It's Lo, your host, and we have almost everyone back for the Vols ATB crew. We've got Drew and Brando / Vol Scoops over here. Alex wanted to be on tonight, but he's super busy, so he will be on next week. Obviously, this past weekend was super big on the recruiting end. Lots of recruits on campus. If you caught our show like a couple weeks back, we had Jack Luttrell on, 2023 Vols commit. And he is back on tonight to kind of wrap up interviews and talk about recruiting this past weekend. So, Jack, tell everyone what's up.
Yo, guys.
We're glad to have you back. I am going to let Brando take a lead on this episode. He is super into recruiting, way more than I am. So he's going to kind of lead us off on this episode. So, Brando, go ahead.
Yeah, basically like what Lo touched on. It was like a super huge recruiting weekend for the guys and everything, like all football wise. Had like a crazy amount of prospects on campus. You had wide receivers, Kyler Casper, Carnell Tate, both top 20 receivers in the country. And then on the defensive side, you had guys like Rico Walker, Jeremiah Anglin, just really big prospects, not to mention, almost 5-star running back Trayon Webb. So, big time on Rocky Top. You got Nico committed and other guys, prospects just, flowing in. So a huge weekend. And I guess I'll let Jack kind of hop in and give his part since he's the main man in the operation. Jack, if you want to tell the people how the weekend went.
Yeah, so I'll kind of just walk through how the weekend went. I was able to drive up Friday morning, hang out with my guys. I actually got to play for Team TOA that weekend, which is Nico's 7-on-7 team. That's Nico's dad, and then Nico at quarterback with all the Cali guys. So that was one of the cool things. I got to hang out with them that Friday. I got to go bowling with Coach Hype. He actually beat me. He doesn't let me forget that. But so just Friday night alone, I got to hang out with Carnell and Kyler. So it's me, Nico, Carnell, Kyler. We're bowling, we're having fun, we're talking football. And then that next morning, so Saturday morning, we had 3 games starting at 9 o'clock. We tweeted it out on our phones. Me and Nico both did. We had amazing support from Tennessee fans. Like, I remember one game I looked into the stands and I was like, this is like a lot of orange. So not like 102,000 type of lot, but it was still a lot of new faces, a lot of people I got to meet. So that happened Saturday morning, and then we went 3-0. We beat everybody, and then we headed straight to the spring game. As soon as we got there, we checked in, put our bags up, all that, and then we kind of just hung out till the spring game started. And it was crazy because the spring game started and it was super cold, and we had just came from playing 7-on-7, so we still had like our tank tops on, like shorts, all that. And so the staff at Tennessee, they did a really good job. They put us all in jackets, warm jackets, blankets, anything we needed, they put us in. And then it even started snowing, which was crazy. I don't remember the last time I saw snow, just because weather changes a lot in Georgia. You might have it one year and then you'll go 4 years without it. But I got to see snow. Snow was falling while the spring game was going on. So that was crazy. It felt like a movie kind of. But it was good. I got to see the players flying around, the players communicating with each other while the coaches telling them what to do, how to do it, what they did wrong, and how to get better. And I'm just over on the sideline thinking like, I'm so ready to be a part of this team, so ready to be coached by the coaches there. And I mean, just the spring game alone was worth the drive up. It was worth the drive up. It was worth the visit, just because I got to see Tennessee football back in action, got a little sneak peek of what's to come this season. And then later that day, I mean, we hung around campus, took pictures, talked to more guys, talked to guys like CJ, talked to Kyler and Carnell the most, probably just because they're really high up on our board. We're trying to get them just because we have a 5-star quarterback now, and our job is to surround him with the best people. But still, I'm a safety. I'm a defensive guy, so I'm still trying to get those defensive people. We got a commit from Nathan Robinson. That was huge. It was right there when he told Coach Hype. I gave Nathan's mom a hug. It felt awesome. I kind of like saw myself. Like there was flashbacks of me telling Coach Hype, like I'm ready to play for you. I want to play at Tennessee. I want to be coached by you. And I mean, the hair on my arms was standing up, and it's always exciting when you get a commit like that. But we went back to the house. We played that next Sunday. We went 3-0. We won the championship, and that's all with Nico at quarterback. So it was a really good weekend. Got to talk to a lot of the recruits we had. Got to talk to all the coaches again. Got to take cool pictures. This was always fun. I'd say overall it was a successful weekend.
Man, that's just kind of probably brings joy to everyone, listening, hearing that, and where Tennessee is at, having a big, spring practice weekend, not public to the fans, but behind the scenes. Sounds like they did pretty dang well with you guys and bringing y'all in and showing you everything that it can be. I guess to start off with like questions, I was going to hop into the 7-on-7. I saw Caleb Webb. He's a Georgia native. He was talking about my first college game is my first snow game, and it's my spring game. And you being from Georgia, like, when you come up and you play 7-on-7 and it's freaking snowing and you got fans out there who are, waiting for autographs or coming up and, doing rap battles, wink, wink, to, doing all that stuff. And you have those guys that are coming up to you and showing you that kind of love and wanting to rap for you and mentioning your name, and you're just a commit, bro. How does that make you feel like going forward and making the right choice for Tennessee and seeing this kind of process being in Knoxville?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a couple days ago when someone tweeted, like, let's not forget who the first commit was. And like they listed my name, they listed a little quote, I think. But I mean, I retweeted it, I quote tweet, whatever it's called, and I just said, I said big trust, because I mean that's what I've had since the day I committed. I was the first 2023 commit, and I believe since day one that Coach Hype and the whole coaching staff at Tennessee is going to bring the best players in, do what's best for each one of those guys, and ultimately win championships. And I mean, since that day, a lot has changed. A lot of people have committed, but like that's the one thing I try to tell those guys, that I tell them, like, because everybody asks why Tennessee? Why did you commit to Tennessee? They ask Nico the same thing, and they don't understand. Like, we say we're playing 7-on-7 at this stadium, and there's 50 plus people who show up wanting a picture. There's people who you've never met a day in your life who come up to you talking about White Lightning on the beat, like freestyling. And the fans, it's crazy the support you have at Tennessee. And there's nothing better than playing a game, walking off, and having kids from 8 years old to people who are past 50 years old asking for pictures, autographs, handshake, any of that. And I mean, it's amazing every time I go up to Tennessee.
That's great to hear, because I'm back. I saw the snaps and the stories and stuff of people sitting out, during the spring game or during 7-on-7, and people taking pictures, like Sports Illustrated or Ellie that was down there with you guys and covering it. And I guess now, like, everyone's like, Tennessee, like, why are they doing this? What do these guys see in Tennessee? Is it kind of like a prove me wrong thing? Because I saw the TikTok Lando made for y'all, and it's like, oh, Tennessee sucks. Heupel can't recruit, 8-4. And then it's like, Nico and showing everything we're doing. Is that kind of like a demeanor, like y'all know what's on the table for y'all, and like you're coming in and trying to prove everyone wrong? Or
Yeah, I mean, my mindset personally, has been like this for a while. First ranking came out, didn't get an offer till after sophomore year. I've kind of just accepted the underdog mentality, the you're not good enough to win. And the only way to shut people up, the only way to get them to stop talking, is to just flat out do it. And I mean, that's what we've been doing. We went from no 2023 commits to 5 or 6 now, and one of them is a 5-star quarterback. So everybody who's saying Tennessee's trash, Tennessee Coach Heupel not a good recruiter, all that. I mean, we accept that. Like, you want to say that, go ahead, shout it at us, because we're gonna just prove you wrong, and then keep getting more guys. And that's kind of the mindset we have right now.
All right. I guess before I let the other guy, everyone else hop in and ask questions, isn't it kind of crazy? You know, you got Nico, you got Nate Spillman, now you got Nathan, you got Aiden, and then you still got a 5-star tight end and like a guy like Ethan Davis. That you got Carnell and Casper right now on campus. No one's talking about what it'd be like. You got Nico there. What about Ethan Davis? Like that man's. I feel like he's a guy that could also, he's like obviously come in, make an impact, and he's a freak of nature. I just feel like with those kind of receivers. Then you got Big Ethan over there. This offense is like looking like it could be unstoppable.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ethan Davis is my guy. Like, I'll tell a quick story just to explain what type of guy Ethan Davis is. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I had just played out in Dallas, and our tournament got pushed back. So my flight was supposed to leave at 2 p.m. and our tournament got pushed back where we played a game at 2 p.m. And I mean, my coach was like, we'll get you another flight. Like, there's always flights to Atlanta. And 2 p.m. comes, we're winning our games, we keep going. And soon enough, it was 9 p.m. and I had just got on the plane. And now, like, I moved a month ago from the Atlanta area, 3.5 hours down south. And first person I text, because Ubers won't take you 3.5 hours unless they charge you $1,000, something like that. So I'm thinking, I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna miss school. I'm gonna miss football workouts. I'm gonna have to run. I'll have to condition all this. So the first thing I do, I text Ethan Davis, and I was like, do you got anything tonight? Like, late tonight, I'll get in at 11. Is there any possible way you could pick me up from the airport and drive me down to South Georgia? And he said, I got you. And that's the type of guy Ethan is. That's the type of guy I want to be for him. And then also the rest of our commit family right now. And moral of the story, like, Ethan is that guy. If anybody asked me if he's good enough to play at Tennessee, I'd say he's good enough to go straight to the NFL. Like, he's a freak of nature. He'll do it on the basketball court, and he'll do it on the football field. And I think a lot of people forget about him and forget that we already have that 4-star tight end that will be catching touchdowns from Nico, and everybody will be shouting his name in the.
Yeah, I kind of had to throw that in because thinking about Kyler being here and then Carnell, you got a freaking guy that's probably going to end up being a 5-star tight end, a top 100 prospect in the 2023 class, and Ethan Davis. And I feel like that's just great to have in your kind of back pocket in this offense. Like, if your receivers are big time receivers, I feel like the glow will go to them. And then you got Ethan Davis. But if Drew or Lowe want to come in here and hop in and ask questions, feel free.
Yeah. Jack, you've obviously been to Knoxville a couple times already, and everything. What is the one thing about this visit this past weekend that kind of like stood out for you that was different from your previous visits?
A lot of people won't understand, but it was definitely the black jerseys. Right. There's something different about just being in a new jersey. A lot of people have not seen before. The football team had only wore 1 or 2 times, and the coaching staff respects you enough, values you enough to put you in that position and put you in those jerseys. And I mean, the pictures were amazing. Like, the photographers there, the photographers that came, they did an amazing job taking pictures. But I think the black jerseys, and then we got to just walk downtown a couple times, just walking through Knoxville, people yelling like, "Go Vols," or wearing Tennessee gear. Like, you don't see that from where I'm from. Like, there's not a lot of Tennessee fans who just walk around the streets. There's a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans, and I tell them all, "Go Vols." But it's always like, I think that was the biggest thing that stood out, the recognition that you get And then like that's all. It's always nice to feel that.
I just wanted to say, I've mentioned multiple times on this podcast, we've had discussions about the black jerseys. There have been Twitter wars over the black jerseys. I've always said the recruits love this shit. So sorry for my language, but honestly, like if you have been listening to this and you have had the opposite opinion, it's time to listen to what the recruits are talking about. We have one right here on this podcast.
We love the black jerseys.
I love it. I love it so much. This might be a tricky question. I'm not sure, but I'll throw it out there anyway. You know, it's very obvious to me, and I'm sure to anyone listening, just how truly committed you are. And with all of the new additions and transfer portals and NIL deals, it seems like commitments are a little bit shaky these days. How confident are you, and answer this however you want, but how confident are you and everyone that's committed in your class so far that they aren't going to like flip flop last second?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the guys that are committed right now, I have great relationships with them, and I care for their careers a lot just because of how much I've got to know them. So say we had somebody who committed to Tennessee and then realized I'm going to have a better opportunity to play. I'm going to have a better opportunity for my future if I went somewhere else. Like they're still my guys. I know I definitely want them to be at Tennessee with me. But your future, like I can't be mad at someone who's chasing a better future. Not that Tennessee is not the best place to be for your future, but there's always other things that play into that, and I can't be mad at someone who does decommit or does chase other options.
Beautiful answer. You did very well. I had to throw that out there, but you handled it well. I wanted to touch on another thing. You mentioned that it was really awesome at the spring game to get to watch the coaches in action. Did any coach surprise you or act or coach a different way than what you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Martinez, he's my coach. Like I talked to him ever since the week I got the offer. And through the phone, like on the social media, you'll think, oh, this guy's kind of an older guy, like he's quiet, raspy voice. But I mean, it's a whole different story when you're out there on the field and you can hear the things he's saying, because I mean, you do one thing wrong and he's yelling from the sideline, trying to run on the field and make you do it the right way. That was the most surprising thing. And I mean, I love a coach who gets on me, makes sure I do the right thing, and then if I don't do the right thing, he'll slap my butt until I do. So that was probably the most surprising thing, but also the thing I like most.
Very cool. I love that. Go ahead, Brando.
Yeah, I was basically gonna touch on like the black jerseys first off, but like I guess your first two visits, you know, you didn't really have the black jerseys. Then you kind of have these big prospects coming on. You have Nico getting the black jersey. He makes the move. Now you got a whole big picture. You got you, Carnell, Kyler, and Nico all in the black jerseys together. Is that kind of like some kind of foreshadowing, or how are you feeling kind of with that kind of process with those guys? Do you think, you know, Tennessee has a good shot? And what are you doing as, you know, being the recruiter now? What are you telling these guys to come to Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, just being in the room with those guys, the vibe was definitely there. We could definitely all be teammates, and there was no doubt about it. Everybody felt it. Carnell's mom felt it. Kyler's dad felt it. Um, it felt a lot like a family, except we were missing one of us. We were missing Ethan Davis on in that black jersey, but he had an AAU basketball tournament he had to go to. But that the foreshadowing, I can't say anything about those guys' recruitment or where they stay, because that's for them to publish all that. But I mean, I can tell you those guys enjoyed their weekend. They definitely liked the coaches at Tennessee, and both of them told me they're going to have to come back soon.
And I guess, without spoiling people's, decisions or anything else, is there like any other names that you kind of met on this week? And I know there was other guys like Rico Walker, Jeremiah Anglin, and you being a defensive guy, did you kind of get in that kind of ear? It's like, hey, this is what I like about Tennessee. The visits are nice, the pictures, everything. They come in here and they treat you like family, treat everyone like they're a top prospect. Were you kind of getting in their ears and letting them know Tennessee's the move?
Yeah, I mean, CJ Allen and Jeremiah were the guys that I got their phone numbers, I got their Instagrams, I got their snaps, and I mean, I've talked to them since Friday night because we all went out and ate at Fieldhouse, right on the strip right there. They have the best food. Like if they watch this and they want to give me some NIL deals where they give me some food, I love that. But CJ Allen and Jeremiah, those two guys, I would definitely love to have them. Like I talked to Jeremiah's parents. I talked to CJ a lot. I think his brother was there too. I got to talk to his brother. But those two guys were the type of high character, like great football players that we want to recruit more and we want to be a part of our family.
Yeah. And I guess before I send it back to the other guys, it feels like even if you aren't a top prospect on Tennessee's board, like you're coming in here and you're enjoying everything. You're kind of like coming in here and seeing home. Like Jeremiah, he's a Florida guy, probably never been to Tennessee before, and he walks in, and, he falls in love with the place. And just talking back and forth with them, I feel like a lot of these guys, they really don't know what Tennessee is, and then they come in and they're like, well, dang, this could be like a real possibility. Like this is one of the best schools and atmospheres in the country. Is that kind of like what they're going through? Is like they're getting on campus and they're seeing everything that's right in front of them on the field and the opportunities, and like, hey, like I could really come here.
Yeah, I mean, I tell anybody who asks me, because they're like, why Tennessee? Like you have other options. Is Tennessee really the best place? And I tell them, I was like, growing up, I never watched Tennessee football. Like I heard Tennessee and I immediately I thought of checkered overalls. Like that's the first thing I thought about. But I mean, coming from somewhere like Florida or South Georgia, CJ's actually from Lamar, which is probably, I think it's like an hour north from me. But those type of places where someone says Tennessee and you don't really have something to be like, oh yeah, I know that place, or yeah, I know those coaches. Like your first impression is always big. Like, and I mean, Tennessee does a great job about that, because as soon as you walk through the doors, you see the indoor, you see the stage, you see the playstations, you see all these balloons. Like the first impression of a place and the first impression the coaches give you is always huge. And I mean, I can say it for myself, and I can probably say it for them too, but Tennessee definitely gives the best first impression out of any college.
WW. Drew or Lo, you want to hop in and ask anything before we hop in the Q&A?
Yeah. You mentioned Fieldhouse, Jack. What's your favorite meal over there?
I love some chicken tenders. I just finished my Zaxby's earlier. I love some chicken tenders, and then they have like I forget what it is. It's like you dip it in. It's like a mozzarella stick type thing, but oh, it's so good there.
Yeah, I tried the meatball sub, man. Meatball sub. Oh, it's money. It's money.
I'll have to do that.
Have you tried their mac and cheese?
Okay. My youngest sister, she's about to turn 12, April 23rd. All she eats, she's a huge soccer player. She plays for like the U.S. Development team, all that. All she eats is mac and cheese. And first time I brought her up, we go to Fieldhouse, and she's looking through the menu. She's like, I know exactly what I want. Like, so she got the mac and cheese. I think I got some burger. But I finished my food, and their mac and cheese isn't a small serving either. So she had leftovers, and I'm a growing boy, so I reach over and I take some of her mac and cheese. But all their food is amazing.
I know. I totally agree. It's so funny you mentioned that, because that's where Drew and I met for the first time for like 5 seconds. So it's like a thing.
Great spot.
Favorite spot?
Maybe it's just a spot of good energy and we're just not realizing it. But I can hear the storms outside of my house and it is pouring. I just know that this is about to go south. But let's pray not. I made it this far to the show. Let's hope we don't get any technical difficulties. But
It went really well so far, so I think we're gonna be okay this time.
yeah, we're vibing so far. So far, so good. I guess on the way out, we have a couple of guys on the Instagram or in the YouTube chat that kind of had some fan questions for you, Jack, if you kind of wanted to hop in and answer those. Let's see what I got. So we got one from Josiah Sears 9 on Instagram, my boy Josiah. He wanted to know, what's your relationship like with Nico from recruiting him here and then now being the recruiter with him, and knowing who your quarterback is. What's it been like just kind of growing up with that kind of friend?
Yeah, so crazy story. First experience meeting Nico was actually when I picked him off. We're at a 7-on-7 tournament. We play his team. I think he tries to throw like a seam ball, and I pick it off. I run it straight back to him, do a little disrespectful toss, like keep your ball on your side of the court type thing. But that was the first experience I had with him. And then, of course, I follow him on Instagram. He's Hollywood, so he doesn't follow me back. And I DM'd him. I was like, "Are you mad? Like you don't want to follow me back because I picked you off?" Just trying to break the ice, all that. But he followed me back later, and then we started talking about Tennessee, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm one of the only commits, and I mean we're looking for a guy to join me. Like we need a high level guy, like a big rank guy, high rank guy that will have other people follow him." And he was like, "I know wherever I go, people will follow me. Like he's a quarterback, so he'll have receivers who follow him." But I was like, there's no better place to do that than at Tennessee. And I mean, just from Instagram DMs to playing against each other, and then finally last weekend playing with each other, our relationship is kind of just built a lot. We FaceTime a lot. It's crazy. I'm in school. I don't know if he just doesn't do his schoolwork or if he's homeschooled. I don't know his deal, but he's always FaceTiming in school, talking like, "Have you seen this guy? Like he's ranked a 4-star. Do you think he's really that good? Let's get him at Tennessee." So our relationship is there's a whole football side about it and a whole let's build a future at Tennessee. But then also we're teenage boys and we have fun together. We go out. We talk to a lot of people. We interact with fans together, and it's always fun to build those type of relationships.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the cool parts I realized with this weekend. It wasn't just like kind of recruiting. I feel like all of y'all as a family kind of got close. I saw the Instagram collab post of y'all just downtown kicking it, going on the streets, having fun, man. Like, I feel like that's what it's all about, man. Because, outside, they see you in the facility, they see your visit pictures, but they don't know you're outside on the strip, kicking it, cracking up about things they don't even know yet. So I feel like that was just kind of cool. What were you saying?
I was saying another thing with like Nico. So Nico has Twitter clout, Instagram clout, but what he doesn't have a lot of yet is TikTok. And I mean, since I think it was maybe 6th grade, I've been on TikTok dancing, making funny videos. So I have a TikTok following, and I don't know if he's jealous about that or he just wants to be more like cooler like me. But he loves making TikToks. I like making TikToks too. So that's one thing we do together, and it's always fun.
Yeah, it kind of does seem like he copied your whole flow. I feel like ever since he's committed, man, he's been in the PJs. He's been, making those TikTok videos with the out west music and stuff, just vibing out there. And I feel like, maybe he does have a little jealousy on that side of the park, but maybe you can show him a few dances, get right. Right. But I guess the next question, it kind of goes with that. You talked about picking off Nico, Navy guy in my Discord. He wanted to know who's the best wide receiver you've covered, whether it's an environment of high school or 7-on-7. Who's like the best guy you've kind of gone up against in one?
I'd easily say Carnell Tate or Brandon Ennis. I could really just say the whole SFE 7-on-7 team because they have. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what they do, but they always have like literally the best 7-on-7 team. Like highest ranked players all get together and play for the same team. And I had the chance to play against them. And I mean, I played against Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate, and one time I had to guard Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. Oh my God.
Overall, that'd probably be like the best. But Carnell was definitely like the most fun to compete, just rep after rep, talking back and forth. Like he beats me, I beat him. It's always fun to play with someone like that.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like going up against Carnell or someone like that, I just simply not even tried. Defeated. It's kind of crazy though.
I would like to do that, but I don't think that would go over too soon.
Nah, it doesn't fit your style, honestly. But it's kind of weird though. I guess staying on that topic, like 7-on-7, it's not just kids your age. Like, you're playing with guys maybe younger, older. Sometimes, like you're a senior now, so obviously not older, but you got like 2024s, 2025s trying to get their name out there. Like I remember Winston Watkins, like he's a 2025, and that kid's filthy. And seeing how tall he is, like, is that kind of something that benefits y'all as like recruiters or college kids, like, the kids that are coming in after you from these camps, that you can just kind of build that relationship and go forward with it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can confidently say 7-on-7 is the best thing that has happened for any skill position player. Like from the swag of 7-on-7 to the skill of 7-on-7, just playing. I mean, I didn't play at all until my sophomore season, after my freshman season. Then I played 7-on-7, and then going into my sophomore year, I mean, you can watch the highlights and you can tell like it looks like a totally different type of player. And I mean, 7-on-7 has helped because I was a freshman playing against going to be seniors, and just like you said, Winston, I mean, he's a really young guy, and he's playing against dudes like me and dudes like Brandon Strozer and dudes like CJ. He's going against the best, and then he'll be the best. And then we're going to get all those guys, and we're trying to get them all at Tennessee. And I mean, it's crazy to think how there's a whole brand new side of football that wasn't here 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But it's definitely helped the speed of football and also the connections and relationships with football.
For sure. And that kind of goes with one of the questions I just got on Instagram. We talked about, Lando, him making the TikToks and stuff like that, and him being that kind of guy for y'all if y'all ever like need graphics and stuff like that. How clutch is that? And he wanted me to ask, is Lando made it that guy?
Oh, Lando made it. Anybody, if you need a video, if you need a picture, if you need an edit, Lando made it. Is him. He is that guy. I'm talking about, we took pictures in the black jerseys, and within 30 minutes, I posted them on Instagram. Like you can't really do that with another type of photographer, but Lando made it. He's him.
Yeah, I saw that you had the visit pictures, and then you had the Instagram video, the whole recap, and that was like probably up by the end of the night on like Friday or Saturday. Like it wasn't even like a day after.
Oh
so
yeah,
like that man was pretty much on it. But I guess to hop in the last question, we kind of covered it earlier. Benjamin on Instagram, he wanted to know any dudes that you're kind of pushing for that the media hasn't mentioned yet. I know you mentioned guys like CJ Allen and Jeremiah Anglin, but is there kind of guys that you kind of have like from your 7-on-7 that are maybe going to be some late bloomers that guys just don't know about yet, or Vols fans should know more about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I play 7-on-7 with who are from Cali or from Texas, and I mean, there's a lot. Like I could just go through a list of all of them that are good enough to play at Tennessee. But the guys who are good enough and want to be at Tennessee, because you don't want to bring a kid into Tennessee and have him on the team that doesn't actually want to be there. But guys like Brandon Strozer, he's a corner. He's wingspan longer than my car. Like that's the type of guy that his Instagram is lacking. He needs it. I'm actually gonna text him and tell him like I'll help you on Instagram with that.
Man.
But he doesn't have like a big following or anything. But he's a really like he's definitely blown up. He got an Alabama offer. He got a Georgia offer. He got a Tennessee offer, all within this year. And I say he's the biggest guy that is a late bloomer that Tennessee really like. we really want Brandon to come. We're planning one of my officials the weekend he goes, just so I can be with him, telling him like, go ahead and commit, like go ahead and post that edit on Instagram. Come on. But Brandon's the guy that we really want.
Yeah. I've been seeing, like, trying to do my part, seeing the guys, him comment like little eyes or like thinking about it, stuff like that, or him or another guy like Zach Myers. I feel like those two as corners in that position, they're like super, super underrated guys that really no one knows about, especially Zach, because he's like a 2024 turned 2023. But, just getting these guys, I feel like get them some love. Guys like Brandon Strozier, that kid has a Clemson offer, Bama offer, like late bloomer, like you said. And if you can get a guy like that from Georgia in to hop in with you, like this defensive class, everyone talks about offense. Let's talk about defense, like CJ Allen, Brandon Strozier, Rico, Caleb Herring. Like if you can get a defensive class, just imagine what happens when you have that offense on the field, in my opinion.
That's one thing that, I mean, I was just on the phone with Coach Hype. He was telling me how he's going to score 100 points in this game. And I told him, I said, well, you don't even have to score 100. If we just if our defense is valid and we hold them to 0, we shut them out. All you got to do is score one time. And Nico's good enough to score one time if he's thrown it to Carnell or Kyler or Ethan Davis. So I think our main focus now, we just got Nathan. Our main focus going into this summer and this next season is focus on the defense after we get some other guys on offense.
Nice. And I guess to kind of close it out, and if anyone else has questions, go ahead and feel free. But I guess without saying too much, because you can't, kind of spoil anyone's recruitment, do you think these next few months, April and May, are going to be good for the 2023 class, and you expect Tennessee to get moving here soon?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know do you know our rank in recruiting? Like our
after Nathan, it's 9th in the nation and 3rd in the SEC.
Okay, so 9th in the nation, 3rd in the SEC. I don't know who's above us, but I doubt they'll be able to compete within 2 months.
Bombs. Jack dropped recruiting bombs.
Yes, sir.
Huge. I guess Drew Lowe, you got anything to close it out with?
I love hearing that. That makes me so excited. Let's see. Someone on Twitter, they asked, what impact or impacts are you trying to make on the fan base or the football team while you're here? I guess if you have a specific goal in mind or something for when you arrive on campus.
Yeah, I mean, bringing Ethan Davis back a little bit. We kind of started the Tennessee is P, like when Gunna came out with all that. We started this is P. Like we would tweet when a guy got an offer, when a guy had a Tennessee at it. Yeah, this is P. But kind of just bringing that swag to Tennessee. Like we want to show up. We want to get out of the car, listening to like music blasting, bringing that 7-on-7 swag to the University of Tennessee that historically doesn't have like that type of hype around them. But I mean, I guess you could say we're gonna have like the hype train, if you feel me.
Exactly. I like that.
Jack, have you ever seen that graphic, the hype train graphic? Like, have you ever seen the one that's out there?
I think I actually have it saved.
I think every time you're about to drop a nug or a bomb like you just did on this show, you need to drop the hype train meme.
Oh,
yeah. That would be
just put it like behind me or something.
Oh man, that'd be filthy. Every time you go to a recruit or you want to message them in DM, just send them the hype train.
That'd be awesome.
Drew, anything else?
No, I mean, I don't really have anything else other than that. Like, I'm hype. I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go through a brick wall.
I think I say this every episode, but good Lord, I'm fired up right now.
I'm ready for football, man.
Oh yeah.
I think that we can say like I'm so hyped right now, and it's like a thing every single time. It just cracks me up.
Well,
real quick. I was getting off this. Jack said that he hasn't watched a lot of Tennessee football. Have you watched enough in the past decade to like pick a favorite player?
I mean, I can't. There might be a little bias and all that, but Peyton Manning, Like he has a whole room in the field house. So you obviously got to go with like Peyton Manning, but I mean Trey Flowers, the DB up there right now. Every time I go up, he's texting me like, "You want to come chill in the dorm? Like, you need some gloves. Come to the locker room." So just right now, I'd say Trey's probably my favorite player, and Christian Charles. Like nobody knows this, but
he's underrated, man.
Christian Charles played with me when I was 8 years old. He was 10, I was 8. We played at Chestatee, which is in North Georgia. Nobody really knew who Chestatee was until Christian was the first guy to go big and go to Tennessee. But we played youth football together. Our relationship has kind of just built over the years. So my two, I'd have to include two now. It'd be Christian and Trey.
I love it. Mine is obviously probably going to be Juwan Jennings or Dobbs because they gave me like the best season I was able to watch in my memories. Juwan, though, his energy was such like underdog, doesn't care, run through the wall every single game. And then he was underdog in the NFL, and everyone was like making fun of his 40 time, and then he's still killing it. So I think overall, I'm probably going to go with Juwan, but I just had to ask that to see if you had anyone.
I feel like pretty much everyone that's hopped in this class kind of has that dog mentality. Like, obviously not like Juwan, but I feel like they're not recruiting anyone that's like not going to go and be out there and be scared to make a play. Like, you got Nico, Ethan Davis, Jack, like, and you're seeing their highlights. Like, they're confident in how they play, and I feel like that's huge. If you have a guy that's confident in themselves and their ability on the field, like, you know that you're that guy, and that's pretty huge, especially in this conference. You're in the SEC playing the best of the best. So to see y'all guys kind of fired up, it kind of makes me fired up, ready to run through a brick wall. And like Jack said, I can back that up about Trey Flowers. I play a lot of video games with him, and that guy, not only is he humble, but at the same time, like, that guy's, hungry at the same time. He's ready to go out there and get out there, battling injuries. And I feel like, him being an experienced guy could be a really deep guy that benefits these young guys coming in like Jack. So especially the safety position. So that kind of made me happy to hear, especially with him. But overall, I feel like this interview probably went a lot better than the last one. I know we got cut off the last time because this man Jack had no Wi-Fi box.
Yeah, we got Wi-Fi this time. That was good. I put Do Not Disturb on my phone, and I told everybody I'll call you when it's finished.
Yeah, W, man. I guess, are you enjoying it out there? You enjoying the South Georgia?
Yeah, it's different for sure. It feels like I'm already in the summer. Just the heat, the heat's totally different. But I'm enjoying it. The people down here are great. Our football team, our goal is to win the state championship, nothing less. And it's great.
Yes, sir, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. I guess we'll all be following you, obviously, every weekend. It feels like you're on Rocky Top every weekend, the most active recruit coming to and from Rocky Top. And, you moved to South Georgia, but I feel like you've been on Rocky Top more lately. Every other weekend, you're out there for an unofficial or an official. And I saw Nathan Robinson joking around with you saying, I'm trying to have a competition with Jack who can get the most visits to campus. So
I told him, I mean, we were in the indoor, and I saw him from probably 50 yards away, and me and him made eye contact, and I was like, man, come on. Like, I was going to take the lead with this one. And then he had to show up too. But, that's kind of just the family we're building, just with the commits already, and then the family environment we'll be bringing that's already established. It's going to be something special.
Yeah, a little friendly competition doesn't hurt, especially on a visit. But, I guess if you want to wrap it up there, if you want to, stay with us and talk basketball with us, you're free, or if you want to go. But obviously, a lot better this time around. It was a pleasure having you on. I think if you're not hyped about Jack Luttrell and everything he's doing with Tennessee and what he's doing recruiting, just being that guy, being a genuine person, then I think you're missing out. So,
yeah. Well, it was good to be on. It's a school night, and I got to go do my homework. But thanks for everybody who asked questions and everybody who joined in. Always good to talk to you guys. Always good to be back on this podcast.
For sure, man. Have a good one, bro.
Thank you, Jack. Take care.
What a
That's
king.
fun. God, he's so well spoken.
I'm just gonna be honest, like to the viewers, like we had no plan of that. Like he just came in there and straight up just killed it pretty much. What a
Yeah.
king.
I was not expecting that to last 45 minutes.
42, yeah, 43 minutes.
I do have to say though, it kind of pained me a little bit when he was like, when I first thought of Tennessee, I didn't really think of anything.
Yeah, I was like, heart been broke so many times. Man.
Yeah, I'll go. I didn't really think of anything.
It's like, God, come on, man. At least lie to us.
Hey, I love the honesty though.
Yeah, that's the thing though with these new kids. Like a lot of them, they really don't know who Tennessee is. And like I've seen like a lot of these YouTube comments are like asking about Eric Berry or old Tennessee safeties. And to be honest with you, Jack probably doesn't know much about Eric Berry and his legacy at Tennessee outside of videos that the UT staff like to show. I know they show him like hype videos and stuff like that of what Tennessee was and what it can be again. But in his own space, like he's coming in with a mindset of, hey, it's something I can build and something I can rebuild. So, just kids to come here and see that ability and know that they can make a playmaking ability, even if it does have like a legacy behind it. I feel like that's key, especially with these young guys.
I agree. And I mean, you can't blame them. How are they going to know? It's been like 20 years or more. I mean, I don't even know. I can't keep count. I can't blame them for not.
Feels like 98.
Yeah.
Eventually.
What was that?
What?
I heard someone.
I'm probably my phone. I think my phone's blowing up in my group chat right now because Jack just fucking killed it. So.
Oh yeah, he demolished it. I can't like express enough how we did not plan that at all.
Oh yeah, we just vibed it out. Yeah, we had maybe like 3 questions and he just killed it. So.
Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, that was like really impressive actually.
Highly impressed for sure.
Yeah, I always touched on it. I touched on it with Justin Williams, but like to have the cockiness and the swagger, and then come on a pod for 45 minutes and just talk straight up, honest, humble football, like any better than that. So really happy with the kids we're bringing in, and I know Jack couldn't really hint at it, but I mean the next month or two, like we have the potential to get dangerous around here. So just feel like this Tennessee team. I know it's a year away for these kids to get on campus, but like these kids are top tier talent. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think he did a good enough job. Like he made me excited with like as best as he could, for sure. He answers questions.
Yeah, I guess to like drive a football note that he couldn't. I feel like Tennessee's probably in a really, really good spot to maybe get like 2 or 3 more football commits by the end of April. And if you can do that, that's huge. I know one name he did mention was Sylvester Smith. We mentioned him pre-show with him. He's a top 20 safety. I think he's committed in April 26th. Multiple Tennessee predictions. Really looking nice for him. And, getting a 4-star safety or just a 4-star in general. I know everyone loves the 4-stars here at Tennessee, but a 4-star defensive guy, like if people aren't up in their boots about that when he commits, like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also got guys like Caleb. Goddamn. Guys like Caleb Herring and other guys on defense. Like we've all talked about offense, Kyler Casper and guys like that, but I feel like this next 2 months, like it might just be mostly defensive guys. And I don't have any problem with that because you have Heupel, you got Nico now on the boat, and you got a returning quarterback. Like I just feel like offensively, I couldn't be any more happy with this team. Like who would have said that 2 years ago before we had Josh Heupel? All we wanted was an offensive minded coach. And
I know.
saying that
We were having that when a recruit got diabetes. I mean, so it's unbelievable.
If 2 years ago, if we weren't wanting a top offensive recruit, we were smoking something. Like I remember last year, Ty Simpson, and now this year we got fucking Nico. So it's absolutely crazy what can happen in a year, especially with the way college football is changing. A lot of it's NIL, but our staff at the same time has just been killing it. So,
yeah, I mean, you just can't really get any more excited than I am about all of this, honestly. And who wouldn't want to come here at this point after watching Heupel in 1 year? If you're an offensive-minded player of any kind, I would come here, but we got to have the defense, so we can't just leave them in the dust. That's why I like that you touched on them, because you can't just lose sight of that.
Yeah. The Nathan Robinson guy that recently committed, Jack mentioned, his stat line for last year. I know it's Tennessee 3A football and Greenbrier, and Greenbrier is like not the best competition in football, but it's absolutely ridiculous what this kid did. So he finished his junior year of high school with 89 tackles, 26 for loss, and 23 sacks, which is the most of any player in the entire United States. Like he literally had the most sacks in high school football in the United States, while also getting 6 forced fumbles. And I mean, stat lines like that, you literally just can't teach it. Like if you're getting that ability, even if it's 3A football, like you're finding a way to the quarterback. You're obviously outsized and, destroying these kids. And in-state recruiting, like 2 years ago, I look back at the other classes. We didn't have a class the last 3 or 4 years with more than 2 in-state guys. And in this year's class, Hype already has 3 locked down. So everyone always talked about in-state recruiting. You got Nathan Robinson, Aiden Bussell, and you're just keep on thriving. I mean, like if you can get in-state recruiting and then get top guys, from California like Nico, or dipping down in Georgia and Florida, I feel like that's the perfect ratio, because everyone talks about, oh, we don't value our state. Well, they're in there now. So,
I mean, I think that like also as well, it's like I know that he's a 3-star commit, but when you consider the fact that like we beat out teams like Ole Miss, who after Kiffin's second year made to the Sugar Bowl, and Kentucky, who have, I mean, I hate to admit it because I hate their guts, but they've been one of the better, programs in the SEC East in the last several years. And you're beating them out for a guy like him. I mean, I think that speaks a lot of volumes on how serious Heupel is about recruiting within the state, but also on the progress that he's made within the program as well.
Well, not only that, but they're recruiting the guys that they want for their system, and sometimes that's not the 5-star with whatever attitude problem going on. Sometimes that's the 3-star with a hell of a lot of potential and size and the right attitude.
I was just going to say you're exactly right, because I remember like 3 months ago, I wasn't sure if Nathan Robinson, would be a take for Tennessee. And like you're saying, they're going out there and taking everyone they want right now. Nathan, him being a lifelong Vols fan, he always, threw a VOL. And before he was even targeted by Tennessee, he wanted to be a Vol. And I think he realized that. And they said he gained like 30 pounds, a straight lean body. Like these kids are just, pushing themselves to get involved and be a part of something. And when you put yourself to that kind of grind and you're still a high school student, that's a lot to put on your plate, to get in the gym, stay in school, and just be a normal kid, especially, chase your dreams. So props to Nathan for, changing his body and getting to the level he is, because it's taken a while.
Absolutely. That's highly impressive. I had no idea. That's really awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we didn't really talk about the spring game. Nothing really came out about the spring game. That's part so weird, because there wasn't a spring game, but there was. So all the commits and their families got to see it. And I know we saw like the little clips or highlights of that one Joe Milton pass, or Jimmy Callaway making a crazy play. But other than that, it was kind of silent. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm leaning more of a good thing, because when's like the last time you had a Tennessee full spring practice that we didn't even have to cover anything? We've been covering recruiting or, guys hopping in. Like Heupel's had this thing locked down, silent, and we're not kind of used to that at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I like it, and I'm not going to lie. I've not ever attended a spring game. I probably should have.
You're not missing much.
Not missing those.
Probably not in recent years. But, I think it probably even elevated the experience more for the recruits, right? Because it made it kind of more private, more special. They're just there with their families. It's not televised. Like, they get to see more and just interact more. So maybe it was even better that it was done that way. I don't mind it at all, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was, all in all, everything that came out of this weekend with the recruits, or just in general, was all positive. I know a lot of praise was for Joe Milton. A lot of fans don't want to trust Joe Milton, but if you can, get that guy in your back pocket as a decent backup quarterback, he did have those good flashes, against Georgia. We try not to think about Pitt and Ole Miss, but if you can just, have that kind of guy, an experienced guy, I feel like the quarterback room is kind of underrated, because you got 2 experienced guys. Like most quarterback rooms, you got a 5-star if you're lucky, and then you got those 3-star, 4-star guys you kind of have to build and trust on. So to kind of have those quarterbacks, and then, he'll leave and Joe will be there next year, just that mentorship, I feel like is huge and key for this quarterback room. So all in all, I'm just kind of impressed with how well they've done, keeping it quiet, keeping it simple, but also being super effective on football.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say that this quarterback room is like honestly probably one of the most talented ones that we've had in quite some time when you think about it, because you got Hooker's honestly an all SEC quarterback. You also got Joe Milton, who's a quarterback that started at 2 different programs in Power 5 conferences, which not a lot of programs can actually say that. I mean, Aiden Jackson, it's, he's a freshman. He probably won't see a lot of playing time, but he's got a lot of great potential as well. And so it's weird. It's like, for some reason this year, it's like, even if I know if Hooker goes down for some reason, like I'm not like in instant panic mode that like we're screwed, It's like, all right, like hopefully Joe Milton doesn't overthrow this by 55 yards, but it's like, that he has the potential to be a really, really good quarterback. So
I agree. I really agree with that. That's a great point, Drew, because I've always been in panic mode for the past few years. I mean, legitimate panic mode at quarterback mode. So
JG rolling out there.
yeah, it's JG, man. I'm sorry, but it was awful. I mean, I had no confidence anytime the ball was thrown. I mean, I'm not trying to trash him. He's been gone for God knows how long.
But like
It always comes back to Pruitt or JG. I don't know why.
But it wasn't just him, but like you think about like Keller Chris, and then at one point we were playing Will McBride like 5 years ago.
JT Stroud.
And JT Stroud. I mean, and JT Stroud's, a lot
of the best one out of all of them.
But, like there's such a long line list of quarterbacks. And like, it's just, even now when you just think about it, it's like, all right, if Joe Milton gets out there, it's like, he's going to be able to drive down the field. He might overthrow a couple guys, but like, he's going to be able to move the ball. And I mean, and even in that Ole Miss game, I mean, granted, I don't remember much, but like, what I do remember is from that last drive, he was able to go down the field and we nearly won it. So.
That Ole Miss game was a really wild weekend for me, but I was standing in the end zone watching that god-awful overthrow.
And then he ran out of bounds.
Like 2 inches over Seti's hands.
Yeah, and then he ran out of bounds. So I was there. I still remember all of that. It's very painful, but I will say I trust him a lot more. And that they've worked with him since then. I mean, it can't be the same player. So at the end of the day, I like where we're going, and I like the quarterback room at this point. No complaints.
Sure. Yeah, I guess pretty much that all kind of covers it for football. I know that everyone's asking in the comments of the YouTube comments. I see them asking about Brew McCoy. Pretty much with all the transfers at this point, I don't expect them to do anything because most of them are either like grad transfers or we're past the period where I think April 1st, you can't go interconference and transfer to interschools. So like the guys that left Georgia just recently, like they can't go down to an SEC school. So I think most of the guys will be entering soon. I think Tennessee's going to get more active as it does get late because I think like 3 or 4 4-stars this morning when I was at the gym introduced this morning. And like Rivals Mike, and then we're saying, I expect this to get big. So it might be portal season V2. On Brew McCoy, though, I know he's about to graduate like USC. He probably doesn't want to do anything until after that, rightfully so. So probably around 2 weeks or right when May starts, maybe expect him. That's probably the best transfer like we're in with. But I think if everyone's honest, like we're not talking about it now, but it will approach soon. We got to get some help on defense. Like we have to get some help on defense. Man. I'm not worried about wide receivers or our running backs, but when you got like, missing a valuable edge or, only have Aaron Beasley and Banks and Mitchell at linebacker or only got Flowers and Jalen McCullough and Burrell on defense, like those are experienced guys, but we saw what happened against Purdue and Ole Miss and other teams like that. And you definitely need the depth. So I expect Tennessee to get involved there, hopefully. I know they're still talking to the MTSU kid, but not really sure if he's a take. But other than that, football kind of seems like it's on its own little course and it's only going up. All right. I guess if y'all want to talk about the inevitable with the basketball program, what recently happened with that, I guess we can dive into it now. We're already at an hour, so we can make it quick. But basically everyone knows Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, he transferred out. We also lost Quentin, the kid from IMG or Montverde Academy, the freshman on there, and then Victor Bailey Jr. leaving. So it seems like a lot of guys, besides Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, obviously kind of got processed out. Brandon kind of wants to go do his own thing. Kind of, I heard it's like a parent thing, wanting him like get better opportunities. So not really much you can do in this day and age. Like the portal gives, NIL gives, it takes, it happens. And all you can really do is kind of wish him the best. But I feel like I wouldn't panic on the Tennessee basketball side of things because I feel like if anything outside of Brandon, it's just Rick trying to reload at this point. I think he wants to go out there and win. And I think, as a lot of people have also been saying, and I kind of agree with it, he doesn't have too much longer left, and he knows what it takes to win in this league and how close he got now. And I think he's kind of like pissed of how he's like going out early. And I think if you can get involved with guys like the Julian Phillips kid or the Tyreek Key guy from LSU, or the recently there's one that entered from Kansas State today. I just know they're not doing this for no reason. Tennessee has guys they've reached out to, they want on their roster. And I think here soon you can probably expect some new names, but I just don't know what to expect going in the next season with 4 brand new people on your roster. Like,
I think it'll be all right. And I know a lot of people were upset about Huntley Hatfield, entering the portal, but I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't find it really that big of a loss, and it's like, I know he has a lot of great potential, but when you're talking about when Euros and Jonas Adu, who honestly, like, for almost 3 weeks wasn't even playing that good of basketball, is getting more playing time than he is. Like, I think it just speaks volumes about it. And I've also always got the sense that he never really fully committed into the culture that was here at UT. And, not to mention, he's been to 5 different schools in the last 6 years. He played at 3 different high schools. So, he definitely, I won't say anything about him. I don't know whether it's his surroundings, but it wasn't a good fit. I think he'll be a decent player, but I think we could honestly get far better off and a far better depth in, the 5 position. And I honestly think Julian Phillips would an upgrade.
Let me say this. I think y'all are a little bit more positive than me. I'm kind of more in panic mode about Triple J and Vescovi leaving, plus them transferring over anything else. If they both leave, then Kennedy Chandler's obviously gone, and we've lost 3 to the transfer portal. Who the hell's going to be on the court?
Yeah, I think the Triple J and Santee part of it, it's kind of sus because I feel like, in my personal opinion, and like everyone else, they kind of been putting in it from the start, no one really expects those guys to leave. But seeing the videos today with like Euros and Triple J and all them kind of like carrying their luggage out, kind of did get a bunch of guys and fans kind of worried about their future with the team. And to me, that's kind of like the filling out the draft process, because in the NBA, you can now have an agent, you can pull your name out whenever you want. It's kind of different after you sign an agent in the NFL. You can't just say, I'm not going. Or if you sign an agent, you just can't go back. So if they don't sign an agent and they just do the independent process and go through the panel, everything like that, they could easily come back to the team. I think that's what's best for both of them. I just don't see. Triple J, he had his flashes in the tournament. Vescovi, he kind of went quiet in the tournament, which kind of the reason why we got our early round exit. But I just feel like with those 2 guys, there's no reason why you shouldn't want to come back. And until, we have a really reason, or I guess an official statement, I just feel like those guys are kind of doing what's best for them. But you have those, 3 certain spots. And obviously what you said, like Brandon Huntley Hatfield, Kennedy Chandler, like those are 2, maybe not Brandon, but easily Kennedy. That's a guy that's not going to be easy to replace. So definitely trying to find a guard play in that. And then, maybe reaching out to Julian Phillips. That kid's recruitment is all over the place. Like, NIL is going to be a big factor in that one. That kid's a 5-star prospect who would be committed from LSU because of a coaching change. So it's going to take the Vols a lot there, but I think, honestly, they could land him. So I think all you got to do is just rebuild. I guess you kind of see it with football. You saw it with Tennessee football. Tennessee basketball is kind of different. But if you can go out there and if you do get better prospects, then I don't see like anyone complaining by the time the season comes around. So
yeah, it's not as much of a massive rebuild as football is, for example. It sucks that we're not going to have Kennedy, but it's like what Brando said. Vescovi's just testing the waters. Honestly, I would recommend any of our players too, just to see what they can do to improve, what aspects they need to do in order to take that next level. And it's just just from that perspective alone, it doesn't make any sense for them to enter the draft, fully commit into the draft when, their stock is not even that high. I don't even think Vescovi or Triple J are predicted to even be drafted. So I'm not too worried about it. I definitely understand why people would be nervous about it, but I think if you can get a couple of guys in the portal, like that guard from LSU, I think there's a guard from Indiana State that's coming this weekend as well. add some depth. And who knows? I mean, we got plenty of players on this team that could definitely take that next step, whether if it's Justin Powell or even Zakai taking another role as well. So I think it'll be all right. I mean, I think we'll still be a top 25 team next year.
Yeah.
I don't know about Justin Powell. I'm sorry. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on him. I'm trying to be a dick.
His freshman year at Auburn. Like, I know last year was rough, but like those are things and like things like that. Those are things that can be worked on and can be improved on. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I'll agree. There's definitely room for improvement. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too negative. I'm just a battered, like, bruised person, and I'm like, well, if Kennedy, Vescovi, and Triple J all for some reason left, and then you have Huntley Hatfield who leaves, and then we're left with like Powell and Zakai and Euros. I don't know. I'm being worst case. I
get that, but like, look at how much Conwa improved within the last year compared to a couple of years ago, and even Euros. I mean, Euros was a different player. I mean, hell, I jokingly said that he was going to get a double-double, and he nearly did it twice.
Yeah, he almost fucking did it twice.
That's true. That's a good point. We just got to wait and see. No reason to be all terrified right now. I do agree, though. I mean, obviously, it's smart for Vescovi and Triple J to go test out the waters. It's a lot easier to back out and like come back. So why not? I would do it too if I was them. I guess we'll just wait and see. But at least we have some shit to be excited about with that football for once. So.
Yeah. And even though we did take the L last night, we still have the #1 baseball team in the nation. Still undefeated in SEC play. Last night was an asterisk to that part of the game, and I'm still pissed off. I was furious. I closed Twitter, man. I texted the group chat like, "Damn, this is all Alex's fault." I was so mad, but
hey, that's why Alex isn't on tonight.
Yeah, I think he's like taking some personal blame. He didn't want to get shadowed here, but poor guy. But it has an asterisk to it. Big field, wooden bats. You're playing a whole different kind of baseball, playing a whole more conservative game compared to aluminum bats, and even if ours juice, we would still hit dingers, so I don't care. But I mean, like Tony B said, he kind of owned it. Even if we were using aluminum bats, we would have lost, 6-4 or 6-5, whatever. Like, they just had our number. It is bound to happen, but no one can say anything about SEC play. Still undefeated, not a team in sight. And I feel like, last year's team, they were so dominant, and then they had a crazy loss like this too to like some nobody. So maybe it's just a game, get out of your little zone and come back next week. I think we got Bama this week, right?
Yeah.
In the series. So big series this week.
It's a tough loss, but we only gave up. I mean, only allowed 6 hits, and we struck out 15 guys. I mean, like, it's just one of those games where like we weren't playing smart when it comes with like with batting and stuff like that. But shout out, dude, to freaking Vol fans for having over 8,000 people at that game last night. That was
ridiculous.
And if this is any clear indication for Randy Boyd and Danny White, like, they got to add seats to Lindsey Nelson, because if they're willing to travel to freaking Kodak, I mean, my God, like, they could probably get 10,000 people in Knoxville easily.
Easily. I mean, let me say this. I think I'm all about like being cocky and shit, but I felt like our baseball team was getting a little too cocky. And I like that saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like, I hope that they will actually take this loss seriously and be like, all right, like, we got a little bit out of control. I think the wooden bat thing was a little bit out of control. Like, oh, we'll beat the shit out of anyone.
Probably, yeah.
So I hope that like they learn their lesson from this, because I would love to see them make the World Series and win the World Series this year, and I think they have every piece of the puzzle to do that. But this might have happened at the perfect time so that they can kind of settle back in.
I'll say this: the last time a national champion for baseball didn't lose a non-conference game was 1948, and that was with Texas. So I think we're going to be all right. I mean, there's those Tuesday midweek games are always the toughest games for any team out there, just because there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of different things going on. You're riding highs off of big time series wins or stuff like that. So just take care of business against Bama this weekend. And, I mean, we got literally, I think it's like a 6.5 game lead in the SEC East and a 4 game lead in the SEC. So we're more than we control, our season, and we don't have to rely on anyone else. So just take care of business and get the regular season conference championship, and let's roll.
Yeah. It doesn't really feel like anyone in the SEC at this point, even though it's so early. It doesn't feel like anyone's going to be able to catch up or really touch us as long as we stay on our feet, stay what we're doing, and do what we do. I'm not really, too familiar with Bama baseball, but there's really no doubt in my mind that we should go out here, get the job done, and sweep them. Is it here or is it at Bama?
It's here.
It's here.
Okay, yeah. Either way, I was going to say, we haven't lost a road series since, 2019. Lindsey Nelson, coach, has been talking about making it nasty. And I feel like if you're a fan and you took that loss last night personal, there's no reason why you shouldn't go to Knox for Lindsey Nelson and fill up that 5,000 seats and get that place rowdy. Because if you're a Vols fan, you're a true Vols fan, no matter what sport it is, you hate Alabama. And you should just be there. Be there, be loud, be rowdy.
I'll be there. I'll be loud and rowdy.
For sure.
I'll be at Bristol.
I'll be blasting that Connor Smith "I Hate Alabama" song. I play it every single time.
Oh, I play it every day.
Fucking
It's
banger.
Boots country playlist. Blared every single day. Great.
Fucking banger.
Oh man, is that all we got, guys?
I think so. We kind of had fun and killed it this week.
I know. This was a really good episode. I wonder if it's because Alex wasn't here.
Fucking Miami Voodoo. Larry Hildbrand has pointed out in the YouTube chat that Bama is currently on a 7-game win streak. So I don't know if that's including conference play and out of conference or who they play out of conference, but
I'm pretty sure they swept Ole Miss on the road last weekend. They're a good team. But the thing is, with SEC baseball, if you think SEC football is loaded, literally there's not a bad team in the conference. Even Missouri is considered the worst team in the conference. And I mean, they took a game from Arkansas. They nearly took 2 games from us. They're not a bad baseball team at all. So just comes with the territory of playing in the best conference in America. So
yeah, I see us eventually losing the series, but I don't think it's going to be this week. No one gives a fuck about Alabama. Everyone hates Alabama. And if we lose Alabama, I'll probably take it personal. But, they swept Ole Miss. So, obviously, a good baseball team went all around. But if anything, the Ole Miss has kind of been falling down bad. So, ever since we played them. So, I'm not going to really take anything to that. I feel like we should go in there, sweep them, just show them who we are. And if Lindsey Nelson isn't rowdy, then coach should just have a right to chill out anyone. So.
I'll let him shoot me out anytime.
Oh my god. Get rowdy, Will.
Oh my god. I think we win. I think we sweep him.
Get your fucking brooms ready.
I'm going big.
We're sweeping them back to the Tuscaloosa.
I'm not going to say we sweep them, but we take 2 out of 3 easily. So
100%. Yeah, at least 2 out of 3.
It's going to rain one of the days, so yeah. I think maybe 2 out of 3. I changed my mind.
I'm taking 3-0, full sweep, send them back to fucking Tuscaloosaville. No one likes Alabama. And I think I even saw today on my feed, everyone's already playing the Philip Fulmer Locker video. No one gives a damn about the whole state of Alabama. So just already fired up.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Well, great show, guys. And
fucking banger.
Alex will be back next week. Sorry for roasting him a couple times tonight. I don't know why.
We love Alex.
It just came to me. He'll be back. He's studying hard, so no worries.
We said we wouldn't go on Pruitt, so we decided to go on Alex.
It's fair. It's fair. Very reasonable. So
I hate when I miss one and y'all are just demolishing me for an hour. That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh man.
I can take it. That's all right. We're done.
I guess everyone stays safe in the weather. It's over here kicking my ass already. So, it's literally pouring as we speak, full on lightning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll have fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for it tomorrow morning.
Fucking blast.
Oh Lord.
All right, y'all. I'll take it easy.
Peace
out.
Good night. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.